Hello, boys and girls. Today is March 4th, 2023. Long time no see. Um, Before I start anything, this update is for TIs, for targeted individuals. So if you're not one of us, please politely move away. There is nothing for you here unless you know me and you want to get in some leverage, some upper hand on what is this guy talking about and how can I make fun of him and how can I gain leverage over him. In this case, I understand. And oddly or not, this update is about the lack of good faith, and it's about how this matrix is working and what is happening to us as a TIs, always through the prism of personal. So many things I learned lately since last, let's say, summer, or even better, spring. I learned through the deep meditations and the contact with the God. Because honestly, guys, otherwise I wouldn't figure these things out myself, absolutely never. So lately, what he told me and then repeated past year or so was: number one, never work for somebody else; number two, never accept donations; and number three, don't socialize with the infected. So I'm gonna start with the three. So people who never cleaned their astral and etheric parasites, people who are not even aware of the Elohim and metaphysical evil and the way how it works, are simply muppets of that metaphysical evil. And yes, good 80% or more are organic portals. But us, soul ones, do you like my eyebrows? That's how they naturally grow. So I just encourage them. Us soul ones, we are also acting in 99% of the cases as organic portals. So by letting infected into your life, what's happening to you is their infection gonna spread on you first in spiritual invisible form. You're gonna sense it as creepiness, as that intrusive energy, but then they're gonna spread it verbally and through the disbalance of power. I'm gonna talk about that more, into pressuring you. And I'll give you example from training when I was working as a staff crew member on ships. So we had this training. If in the case of emergency, we need to organize the passengers, and then if some of them start freaking out, we need to take them out of the group into separate room because panic is spreading. So you can understand that in what are the other examples. For example, you are non-smoker, you don't take any drugs, but then peer-to-peer pressure is, come on, try this, try that, and then it starts to affect you. This is another example how demonic force and those etheric entities inside push consciousness of human to basically infect another human with substances. Never forget, crystal meth is the perfect, I think, most liked weapon of our reptilian overlords. Now it's I think even fentanyl, but alcohol for the masses. So that's number three. Don't hang out with the infected. And who are the infected? Well, look around you. Which one of those people is conscious? Nobody. And then number one, why not to work for them? Because when you work for them, you basically sign on a paper that you allow them to bully you, to do mobbing against you, basically to torture you for what? For a handful of money. That's it. So you're selling yourself very, very cheaply. And number two, never accept any gifts from these guys, because those who give you own you. So they also find a way how to weasel in your life and essentially start to, play, right? So these are three things. And when it comes to friendship, and he gave me clear example of one friend I still love. However, when I respectare, when I again, spectare, look again behind me. From that comes the word respect. Also, spectator, spectrum of colors. I can't respect what I see behind me. I'll explain that. So there are four different elements to the friendship. There is element of truth, meaning you know what's truth. You look guy in the eyes and you're telling him the truth. And number two, integrity. You say you're gonna do something, one thing, and then you do it. Number three, generosity. And number four is niceness, kindness. So let's start from four. Anybody can be nice. You don't have to be a nice person in order to be nice. Everybody can have a plastic smile on his face and be nice. However, there are people who are genuinely nice, so it's easy for them to be nice. Number three is generous. Generous can be anybody who has extra. Who has extra money can easily be generous. Who has extra time easily can be generous with time. Who has extra energy easily can be energy generous, and who has extra consciousness can easily be generous in consciousness. If you are generous, that doesn't mean that you're good. If you're generous, that means only that you have extra stuff. So these two things, being generous and being nice, do not define you as a good person. I didn't say that if you are generous and nice, that you are a bad person at all. No twisting words here, guys. But it doesn't mean that you are a good person either. And then we come to one and two, speaking truth and integrity. So I'll tell you a story about Nella. Old friend of mine. I think this friendship ended when I ended all friendships on the August 31st, 2023. So I met him on board Queen Elizabeth II. He was just a dirty poor guy from Belgrade who came to work as a waiter. I was already working for a couple of years. We met in a gallery when he wants to buy a shitty camera from Pentax. I said, don't buy this one for $550. It breaks all the time. Buy this Olympus for $320. It's really good camera. It's going to last you a long time and it's cheaper. It's on a discount. So this is how we became friends. Integrity all the time. That's how I ended up in troubles with the management by basically telling people don't buy these break all the time. Like by the end of the Kodak company, they've been selling completely shit. Absolutely every Kodak camera, the certain type we've been selling was always breaking 100% of cases. So I was informing that people and really end up in a serious trouble. So anyway, now I digress. So integrity can bring you lots of trouble. Don't forget who's running this show, right? So we became friends and immediately started a perfectly normal heterosexual bromance. I loved him immediately. He loved me. I visited him in Belgrade in 2006. I loved Belgrade from 2006. I visited also his ancestral home in Golubac, beautiful little town on the Danube. Really loved the people. Returned from Serbia with lots of love for these people, and because they showed me so much kindness, so much honest human generosity. There was no issue whatsoever for me being Croat at all. You understand me? At all. And he visited me here, stayed a week in my house, stayed another week in another friend's house here in vicinity, upper middle class family, the other one, not mine. And he really loved it, and we cemented the friendship for a lifetime. And our life stories parted. I stayed here, started to do conspiracy nights, talking about conspiracy here. Started to end up being targeted, moved from job to job, and weird things started to happen. I didn't know that it's all coordinated. And he worked hard for a while on ships. Then he illegally migrated to States, worked there illegally for a very long time as a waiter, and later on managing restaurants, working very hard. I think he actually, till recently, from that time till maybe like a few years ago, he actually didn't have a day off in his life. I'm not joking. And I'm not really sure that he even now has a day off, because he's always working online. He's running company. He's a very intelligent guy. He has a company. I'll speak about that later on. So very hardworking, very intelligent guy, very nice guy. And balance of power shifted dramatically. He made a nice money. He married American citizen. She was ethnic Serbian. Absolutely the most stupid person I met in my life. When we've been walking streets in Belgrade in 2017, he needed to point to her, "Pazi Miki stepenica, look Miki, it's a step," because she would hit a step with her sandal and it would be his fault. I shit you not. so, so and I admire to him, like, he's been here with her like for years, and she's like shouting, she's like bitching all the time. I wouldn't last 24 hours with her. Maybe maybe I would last 24 hours, but not more than that. So I was like, really, this guy is so professional when it comes to it, because it was clear that it's all about American passport. Yes, guys, sometimes you need to prostitute yourself through the marriage for American passport, and he paid the price. It was not a cheap price, guys. And the moment he got American papers, he filed her papers for divorce. And then he lied to everybody that those two things are not connected. And I told him this thing, Nele, when they say it's connected, always teach them this new American phrase: correlation is not no, correlation is not causation. Correlation is not causation. And he loved it. He loved it. He said, okay, that's sweet. That I'm gonna repeat that. So yeah, speaking about lies. So anyway, in 2017, after a very long time and after whole ordeal of Southeast Asia, I came home that month, and he invited me to Belgrade. He paid the ticket and everything, and I went to see him, and he rented very beautiful apartment downtown, very close to Parliament, Skupština, and I was so happy to see him. And honestly, guys, this guy like saved my life in 2015 when he sent me $100 for a medical check when I figured out that I have a Escherichia coli superbug. And then later on I started to buy oil. And so, I really appreciate it a lot, because my ex, whose doctor didn't even bother to look at my papers, she basically told me to fuck off. so I was really disappointed. But then, really, you really appreciate when somebody really helps you out in this kind of situation. So yeah, my trust in this guy and love was absolute. So if you have between 0 and 100, it was a 100, no questions asked. So I'm here in Belgrade, and I ordered the shopska solata, which is basically Greek salad with the cheese and salad and mineral water. And in the first restaurant, he's informing everybody that I'm Croat, and temperature drops 20%. But it's downtown, everything is nice. So I say nothing. In the second restaurant, again, then he's making jokes on my account with the waiter, who says that he's from Banja Luka. Waiter hovering above me. I'm looking at him, saying, "Can I eat my salad now?" He moves away finally. So, weird things, of course. I digress, but in meditation, God told me, Kruno, even Americans who can't find North American map of the world know that Croats and Serbs don't like each other. I say, I'm listening. So did you notice that Nele was pointing with his finger at you when you've been in Belgrade, that you're a Croat, but he was not pointing finger at himself, that he's a Serb in Croatia? I noticed that now when you're saying it. Why was he pointing fingers? I say, well, glupo i nepotrebno means stupid and unnecessary. However, it was fun when you've been one against whom was balance of power. So come on, notice this. So okay, good. Third restaurant, fourth restaurant, he's taking me out, but I'm turning more and more into what we can say here, ridicule, into the laughing stock, right? And I start to ask him, come on, man, just chill with this ethnicity thing. I'm nobody's noticing me unless you point a finger and inform very loudly whole restaurant. Oh, kajde, brate, šta je, brate, brate, ja, brate, brother this, brother that, you took me completely wrong. So, okay, thing is moving, and now we are in New Belgrade, blokovi. What's the American word for the area? Ghetto. So we are now in the ghetto, and we are on a nice terrace. There is nice park, all these nice concrete buildings around, few tables empty, and then two guys, huge guys, dressed in black Adidas, black tracksuits, shaved heads. I immediately noticed them. They gave me cluster B vibe. It takes me about like 10% of a second to sense psychopaths, in this case sociopaths. Typical football gang guys, you know. Belgrade is really full of them. Partizan, Crvena Zvezda, and so on. And a city has a reputation of, you know, exporting gangsters and killers all over the Europe. So, you know, not mentioning the scene there. So, to put it mildly, vidimo se učitelji, here is the link, you know. And so, and then we are sitting, and it's really nice day, and, you know, it's Nell and me and Miki, his wife at that time. Waitress is coming, she's cute, I'm ordering coffee, he's ordering aperitif, short drink. More he was drinking, more he was getting stupid. And then he goes, oh, mi je moj drug iz Hrvatske, mi je došao drug, ej, oh, drug iz Hrvatske, you know, my friend from Croatia, my friend. Oh, fuck. And then, then you hear those two guys, šta, iz Hrvatske, a? Iz Hrvatske došao, iz Hrvatske, jeli? Šta onaj tamo, a? Iz Hrvatske došao, si došao iz Hrvatske, jeli, a? Like, like very fucking loud, you know. And I'm like looking Nell, and Nell is not even noticing the whole thing. He's like, oh, lepo, you know. Okay, cool. And I'm not looking at them, but I remember how you call this part of the leg? Yeah, the knee, right? I clearly noticed, you know, when the guy was sitting, that the big guy, he was turned, you know, shaved head, mountain, you know, face like a rock. When his leg was moved like that into, you know, the arch 90 degrees, those three tracks from Adidas, that was the moment when a permanent crack appeared on our friendship. I didn't know it back then, but later on, when I reflect that moment of, and this was on the third day, and this was not the only incident, guys. Precisely thanks to him and his loud speaking. This was the beginning of end of our friendship, and of course that Nele, Manuela će ti dat link, ti ćeš to vidjeti. Manuela gonna give you this link, you're gonna say, she's stalking me. He's not stalking me. Digitally speaking. So, and then they looked us, and of course I sensed everything. They noticed Mickey, his cute ex-wife, and basically her presence de-escalated the whole throwing down thing. So, you know, I asked him again politely to, you know, just cool it with the identity politics and loud speaking. He didn't fucking get it at all. Again and again and again and again and again. Is Nella stupid, or is Nella, you know, playing some tricks? Question. So, and this was, and then same day, or I was there only 4 days, I was supposed to be longer. Again, same thing happened in another restaurant, and this was basically, you know, I, as a good Croat, I'm keeping things down, saying politely, but at one moment, pun mi te, kurac, začepi više s tim jednom, koji kurac pokazuješ prstom na mene? Basically, in polite English translation, please, could you stop with that bullshit in the tone I just explained? And then he finally got it, but he was upset with my attitude. And just to give you another example, the difference between Belgrade and Serbia and normal countries is, in Belgrade and Serbia, it's perfectly normal to have in their main fortress, what's the name of the Kalemegdan, to have a coffee mugs with Raja Mihailovic, to have t-shirts with Raja Mihailovic, to have Chetnik uniforms with the big, you know, emblems. Essentially, imagine in front of Reichstag to have coffee mugs with Adolf Hitler, to have t-shirts with Adolf Hitler, to have Nazi uniforms with full regalia, or imagine United States, you know, where is the Lincoln's Memorial, to have Ku Klux Klan members selling their hoods, selling insignia, selling, you know, coffee mugs with the Ku Klux Klan, you know, emblems or whatever, memes. You understand me? And this is this kind of country, right? And just to give you example from that Kalemegdan, we've been there. I bought a coffee mug on Putin. I'm so fucking sad that I didn't buy a coffee mug on Draža Mihailovic, because that would be such a cute, very authentic souvenir. And really, why didn't I? But hey, I guess I'm Croat. Didn't want to touch that shit. And yeah, talking about guys who've been like cutting throats, thousands of people during the Second World War and being Nazi collaborators. And later on, they resurrected them as freedom fighters. And Serbia. And so where was I? And we've been there. I saw like literally a guy dressed like that with a plastic with a liter and a half plastic bottle with of course it looked like water. It was not water inside. He was dead drunk. And then when we passed by some old people like 70-80-year-old penziches, they figured out my accent. They've been throwing down, što ste vi proterali Srbe, like you kicked out Serbs from Croatia, so to give you an idea how fucked up is to point a finger in this country. How things can add up. Imagine a scenario with these guys with this regalia, football hooligans who are not into Croats and anybody else, and Nele, pointing. And guys, it's happening. They just, a few years ago they killed a Croatian kid in central Belgrade, threw him into the river. They beat up shitloads of people all the time because young people go there to party because booze is cheap and is also cheap. So you get the idea. And so okay. After so you get the idea. Another thing is he promised me a job that I'm gonna work online for him, booking waiters for different parties. He's doing this kind of booking job and organizing that. And he told me I'm gonna send you paperwork later on. He looked me in the eyes. He promised. And then he told me, we're gonna do this job inside our family. We can't afford extra help. So I believed him. So first lie, you're gonna get the job. Second lie, I'm gonna send you paperwork. Third lie, sorry, job is no longer available because we're gonna do it indoors. 5 years later on, he told me that he actually gave a job to another person. Of course. And so what's the point? And then at one moment, like God just aligned things. Imagine, so first lie, second lie, third lie, fourth lie when he lied to his wife that he's going to Chicago, but he went to Colombia to bang a Latina. Another lie when he divorced his wife over, now I have passport, now you can fuck off, out of my life, and lying everybody these two things are connected. So I say, yeah, what about it? He said, what, just in meditation like this, just stay with me. So imagine this. If somebody is lying to you, can you trust that person? So I said, well, if somebody is lying to me, I cannot trust this person. But he was always nice to me. When I was in need, he would send me $100 and, and shopska salat and pizza cut. Wait a minute. Do not confuse 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, honesty and integrity, generosity and niceness. These are two different categories. Did he lie to you? Say yes. A number of examples. Many other examples you're not even going to notice consciously in this lifetime. There is more to it. That's what God told me. Say, wait a minute. So if he's lying to you, can you trust him? Say no. Now he told me, look what means English word respect in its original. That's what God told me. Look online. And then ask yourself, can you respect him? I say, I do respect him. No, you love him, but can you respect him? I looked online and it says, and I'm just going to put a picture here. Respect comes from respectare. Re, again, spectare, look back. Respectare. Respect means when you're looking back on that person, CV, who's that person in the actions, do you respect that person? Now let it sink in. The brilliancy of Latin language is because it's to the motherfucking point. So, but respectare totally has motherfucking meaning, guys. That's why I love Latin language so much. So when you respectare, lie after lie after lie, and generosity, do you have a trust in that person? Answer is no. So if you cannot trust him, if he has this kind of track record of lying and deceit, can he be your friend? But I do love him. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what you love. It doesn't matter, because love is when somebody does nice things to you and then you develop emotions. That's not relevant. That can be easily manipulated with. Oxytocin is just a motherfucking hormone. Look back, because God is closer to the logic than to the emotions, guys. Okay? Don't forget, emotion is just a product of the body. Consciousness is far higher than that. And I said, no, I cannot respect the guy. I cannot. And if you cannot respect the guy, can you be his friend? No. Yeah. And that's the answer. And look from his perspective. If he's lying to you, does he respect you? Clearly not. Exactly. If he's lying to you, he does not respect you. And if he lies to you, lie is always leading another guy to the trap. Like, I'll give you another example. When he was here, and I really had a beautiful time with him and his new girlfriend, Alexandra, really nice person, very smart girl, also from States. And we really had a great three days here. We've been going out, we've been going to little islands around, and it was, really, I think the best time of my life past a few years. We really click as a soul to soul. And then he told me, remember when he turned in his car towards you and told you, you need to do marketing research for me, check out the hostels in the area, 4 or 5 of them, and I'm gonna pay you. And yeah, did he pay you? He said, I don't have any money. And then he bought a house in Serbia for $100,000. And I was working 2 days on my feet, checking out hostels, talking to staff. Interesting to talk to them, because some of them don't even speak Croat and very bad English, coming from different parts of EU. And my feet been smelly, my socks been full of wet, because I was just walking from downtown all the way to the edge of Rijeka to Pečina and back, checking different hostels, taking pictures inside, taking propaganda material. Also 2 days, full days working online, filtering, I think, pretty much every hostel in the area, systemizing everything, sending pictures, prices and stuff. So 4 days of working, and I was short 50 euros for a rent. I hope for 4 days from my American friend I at least gonna get $50. It was fuck off. So yeah, so this is something what I'm trying to say in this update, which is a little bit lengthy, but it's very personal. If somebody is nice to you, and if you like that person, and if somebody is generous to you, that doesn't mean that that person not gonna backstab you and put you in a danger. So now think, I'm in Serbia. He's paying my cup of coffee, my macchiato, okay? And then there is a threat of either mortal death, 2 guys beating me to the pulp. Is that macchiato worth all that shit? And answer is, guys, it's not. It's not. Is this kind of friendship worth of this kind of humiliation? And then what God told me, see, you as many other people, you've been always confusing integrity with generosity. So if he gives you $100 per year, plus 3 Coca-Colas, 3 cappuccinos, 3 shopska salata, 3 pizza cuts, 3 bureks and yogurt, if he's giving you $100 per year, and you selling yourself for $100 per year, then you can write on your forehead 30 through day, D-A-Y, because 30 cents per day, this is your price. And this is what you're constantly telling yourself, that that's your value if you're maintaining this friendship. Because you reduce yourself to be a laughing stock, to be finger pointing shit for 30 motherfucking cents per day. Let that sink in. I didn't get it myself. I got it as information in meditation, guys. You understand me? Repeat it again. And say, is this possible? Say, yes, absolutely possible. Just respectare what I told you. Look back. And you're gonna notice the pattern which is repeating. So he's gonna lie to you. He's gonna deceive you. And when he comes here, or even if need, he's gonna send you some money, for him insignificant. He's gonna buy credibility, and then on that credibility, which now rose, like in video game, energy points rose, now you're losing them through fight. Then rise again, losing them to fight. And this is the game between you and him. And then I realized, you know, even if guy who genuinely loves you and you love that same guy, even that guy will in a drop of a hat backstab you and manipulate you. And if this guy is like this, and he's a really good guy comparing the rest, he's really good guy. And what the fuck is motherfucking humanity? And the answer is infected. Infected. So if you TI, and if you manage to go through Dr. Malanga exercises, and if you manage to move those implants, and if you manage to get on the higher levels of consciousness, then you get me. But if you didn't, then you're getting something out of it. Okay? And now, mark my words, TI has no friends. TI cannot have friends. A person who's getting closer to the God, who's seeing this reality as it is and other realities, immediately is getting into conflict from, I call this, because they call themselves Elohim, I call them Elohim. This is the new term. Maybe later on I'm gonna talk about the origins and stuff like that. Eye in the sky, right? We know them on the lower level as reptiles, Illuminati, and so on. You're immediately getting in a conflict with these guys, and that consciousness is controlling absolutely everybody on this planet. You just start to get out of this consciousness, and this consciousness gonna react like this. And there is no logic in that. This is why you fail when you start to look at logic in the things. Like, for example, I had this friend in the neighborhood. We all, as an ally, we click perfectly as a friends. We laugh, we have very good energy, we understand each other, we crack spontaneous jokes, typical human friendship, guys. And I was working for him, helping him out in his furniture assembling business for fucking peanuts, 10 euros per day, guys. You understand me? That's $10, okay? And then in one moment he wanna kill me over fucking honey. And then after that, and this is pattern which is repeating, and I gonna finish with the currency of the universe, which is consciousness. And then both of them wanna reestablish friendship with me. He said, "Oh, I called you. Well, my SIM card is out of my phone, and you wanna see me. You wanna see me in a park to smoke some. I don't have a phone. How can I get you? You can't." And so on and so on. They're always coming back, which I call the Chinese boss, the way how Chinese boss fires you. Chinese boss has a tendency of firing you multiple times because there is quite enjoyment in that. So same goes with with the Croatian or Serbian friends. Now let me wrap up this last segment of this already lengthy video, which not gonna be edited too much. It goes something like this: the currency of God is consciousness. More you're gaining the consciousness, more you're going up, more you're seeing things as they are, and more you connect with Him. There is more to it, clearly. And then currency of all others, us in these bodies, which are animalistic. This is animal. Okay, this is just evolved monkey plus some geo engineering, genetic engineering. That's what human is, animal. All of the other entities, including us, live off the energy of the God. And those who torture us and those who like to torture other people feed on lush, which is the energy transformed into energy of suffering. So, three different currencies. For the demons, reptiles, Illuminati, psychopaths, it's the lush. This is what they live off. We live off energy, souled animalistic beings. But the God's energy is the consciousness. So what is happening, even if these guys, like Canela, I'm not going to mention this guy from the neighborhood, they have money. Of course, Nela has far more than him. And they have a huge leverage. what they also were very, very thirsty of, and this is why you came here to this point, very thirsty on consciousness, very thirsty on, you know, hearing authentic guy who talks to the camera, right? That's the real currency of this universe. And that's why, although they are in this matrix superior to me, meaning they have means to inflict the pain, right? And they are stronger even legally if something happens. You understand me what I'm talking about? They are weaker in consciousness and they need it. They need it as a guidance. So what Nelly liked about me was my perspective on things, which he could only get from me and nobody else. And now these doors are closed. So paradox in this situation is that me, who's at the bottom of the hierarchy, who's been blacklisted for fucking decades, guys, just another digression. I applied for a job of a postpaid at the Croatian Post, Hrvatske pošte, and I have master's degree in economics, and yeah, I speak fluent Croatian language, much better than my English. Requirements are Croatian language, if you don't speak Croatian, at least English. They didn't give job to me, but they gave to Pakistanis. They hired them in Pakistan. To get the idea, where am I when it comes to the hierarchy of things in this demonic hierarchy? Okay? Even a guy from Pakistan who doesn't speak English is better in the eyes of Croatian state than I am, as a Croatian citizen, ethnic Croat. What the fuck that means anyway? So, consciousness, okay? It's the sweetest currency in the universe, because once you have it, you can't get depressed out of all these backstabbings, either from the state or from the friends. You keep your mental health with you, you keep your wits with you, and you keep rising, regardless how little you have. Okay, so I'm very, very blessed that I found the God, because founding the God, in a real sense, I was approaching all these years and then finally made a contact with the entity, consciousness. It's guys, it's priceless. You know, when you have a God in your life, who needs fakers like Anele? Who needs fakers like M? Who needs fakers like James Dean? Who needs fakers like Alan? All these shadows of a life are completely irrelevant. And their shopska salatas and their joints and their laughings and their genuine warmth and their fake promises of jobs and their, you know, all the motherfucking crap which makes current human being as it is, and that is infected. Fuck infected. Don't mess with the infected. Mess with God, guys. Mess with God. Say fuck off to the infected. Take care.